everyone, this is my Design My Life presentation, and my name is Shelton. I'll be introducing the differences between leasing a car vs buying a car. So, based on what I researched for, I found out that the previous class, the graduation of class of 2022, they have a median starting salary of $47,000. While the average starting salary is $55,260. And among those two data, the last one is the computer science degree associated. According to a lot of the websites and people were analyzing that computer science had the highest average starting salary of $75,900. And the reason of showing this to you is for you to understand like um it's not gonna be like crazy easy to get over 100K for your salary and like so you have to really manage of using the money correctly, especially in our topic for leasing a car or buying a car when you need to use it for work. And based on what we learned, we would like to have a 70-20-10 rule that 20% goes to saving, 70% goes to living expenses, and 10% goes to debts. And in this case, cars can be in between living expenses and debts. So among the 80% total, cars should only take 10% to 35% of the gross income. And with the comparison from the previous slide, I have the data here, which is 4,700 to 1,600, 16,450. Sorry about that. And if you read the numbers, I'll give you about 5 seconds. All right, great. So now I'm gonna come back here and then just to reference back. So it was median average and highest average for computer science major. And those are the numbers for how much we'll be spending for. So what are some pros for leasing? Some pros about leasing is comparing to buying a car, it has lower monthly payments. And the reason why is because the paycheck you're making for leasing is included the depreciation. So it passes the rent and the tax. Not like buying a car. Buying a car, when you pay back the bank, if you decide to take a loan for buying a car, then you have to pay the interest first. And here, is more of the depreciation of the car. And another pro for leasing a car is it really does not need you to have any down payment for the car. Well, usually it needs about like 0 to about 5 to 10% of the down payment of the car. And if you negotiate, usually for us, like just graduates or students, we get like no down payment. And another thing is, even if you choose to lease a car after leasing, and the time period usually is 12 months to 24 months, which is 1 year or 2 year, because they want you to they want their money back in 4 years for a car. So leasing usually takes about 1 to 2 years, and then that will be about half of at that point you will spend about half of the original worth of the car. And at that point you can choose whether you want to buy the car, so which is a leasing buyout, or you can choose to just I'll switch to a new car and then start a new leasing. And the pro for buying a new car is you get the full manufacturing warranty. It will be like 1 year to 4 years, depends on what you're buying for. And then this is really gonna save you money for maintenance and everything. Like when breaking parts are happening, you can just bring it to the manufacturing store. They will fix it for you right away. I have a friend who do that all the time. He has an Audi S3. For him, he actually bought it for a used car. but then they provided him 2 year of manufacturing warranty. So he didn't really pay in that 2 years, and he loved to go there because they have like free servings and everything. Also, you have full control. You don't have any contract. You can choose to sell it anytime you want to. You can choose to do whatever you want with it. There is no contract for your new car if you're buying it. And the most important part, if you like a new car, is the fresh smile. Well, what about the used car? It has a cheaper price compared to a new car. So, and also when you resell it, it has a less depreciation. So, for example, if you see the graph here at the bottom left where my mouse is pointing at, this is a example of a depreciation of a 30,000 vehicle. So you see the first year, second year, first 2 years where when it's dropping the most. But then like for used car, usually people put it onto marketing when they use 2 to 6 years or 5 years. And then so you see at this point the rate of depreciation is going a lot slower. So by the time when you want to sell it, you're not gonna lose a lot of money if you end up successfully selling it in the market. And also it can be less perfect, so you wouldn't have the feeling of, oh dear, I don't want any scratches to my car. Oh, I want it to be perfect. What about some cons? So after talking about the pro, we see that leasing is contracted. It means that everything needs to go on whatever the paper says. If you decide not to lease a car, you can't do that. You have to do it. And there is always a mileage restriction yearly for the car, which usually is between 10,000 to 15,000 miles. And the very very last thing is you're not owning the vehicle. You're paying the rent for the factors or sometimes car shops. So unless you choose to do a lease buyout at the very end of the lease, or else you're paying for them and then they can just release it or sell it for used car to make more money out of it. And the comfort buying, well, clearly we said everything's high. We have high down payment, which is usually 10 to 20%, which I'll talk about later. And it has high depreciation, which the graph we showed earlier, the first 2 years, it depreciates the most. And we have higher monthly payments if you take the loan because you're paying the interest and you're not returning the original money of it. And after the manufacturing cost, you have a long maintenance cost. So now let's talk about the average cost. I want you to know that for leasing, usually it'll be around $400, $700 every month, and insurance costs will be expensive than owning a vehicle because they tend to add more money for a leasing car because they don't know what you're gonna do to it. Because when you own a car, the insurance company knows that it's your property, so it goes to your equity, and then they will make sure. I mean, they will assume that you will take care of it. But leasing a car, it does not add up to your equity, so it's not your property or it doesn't belong to you. So they will add more money to it because they don't know if you're gonna have a higher chance going to traffic or collision or anything. So by saying that, we brings to a total of 675 to 975 per month, adding up everything. I did not include gas. I did not include maintenance fee because those are hard to compare. So those brings to 8,100 to 11,700 yearly for spending on it. Now let's not talk. Now let's not looking at the buying the car and let's just take a comparison of the thing we just mentioned. So you see how the money is like really falling to the last category or like the middle one, like here. So if you want to take only 10% to like 15% of your gross income, you have to make the most average for which is computer science degree. But like if you choose to spend more money and spend less on the living expenses or savings, then I guess any kind of income you can choose, you can kind of use it for this amount of money. So this is already a better monthly payment than buying. So now let's look at the buying. So buying here already, we're putting down 10% to 20% of the car worth already. That's about like 6,000 plus. If you want a better car, would be a lot. Of course, it'd be more. And monthly loan will be like a little more expensive because you're paying the bank for this. And insurance costs will be cheaper, as what we said earlier. So those add up to the number below here. You might wonder, oh, it seems like I'm paying less per month, but that's because that we never add the down payment into it. So the payment that we're paying per month by just looking at the leasing cost is definitely way cheaper than paying the bank for your loan. So now this number plus down payment is actually gonna bring up to like 15K to like 16K. So by looking at here, 15K, 16K, it's like the maximum of your salary. So this is really pushing the limit to like 30%. And as what we said, it will actually be better to just keep it down to 10%. And it will be okay to reach it over to 20%, but 35% of your gross income going to tier, you might not have a lot of savings. So would you lease or buy? Like based on what I think, um, if we are new outcome to the society, I will prefer leasing a car for the first 2 years and take a look. If I have a more stable job and stable income, I would consider of buying a car. But at that moment, maybe you want to buy a house. Well, that's a different discussion topic that people might discuss on. So, what would you pick? Maybe buying a car because you own it, and do you want a used car or new car, or do you want to lease a car so you have like better cash flow on you and paying less monthly is really up to you. Me personally, I will take leasing the car for the first 2 years. Well, thank you for the presentation. My name is Shelton. Thank you for watching the presentation. My name is Shelton. Bye.